I am live, and today we are drawing. I also have a super cool and interesting story to tell you guys about. Uh, yeah, it says I'm live. Like everything. Went outside, went for a walk, and the strangest thing happened to me. This isn't the first time just weird shit happens while I'm out on my walks with Pim. First off, let's go ahead and bring this back up here. And let me get my text. There we go. Text, whatever. Chat, group chat. So, um, thank you for joining me this evening. I learned that Twitch actually doesn't show me who is in the room first or whatever. So I'm just gonna pretend that there's like 15,000 people here, and I'm just gonna keep talking. At first I didn't like this. I was like, I'm not digging it. But after I slept on it, I liked it. I really liked it a lot. Smoke is with us. She says hello. Smoke seems to always be with us whilst we are streaming. And we're going to go ahead and finish this up. I'll tell you guys my story in a second. Maybe when some more people show up, because I don't want to repeat it, because it's really funny. Oh, doggy's awake. But we're going to go and finish up his shirt here, and I should be able to start the shading today as well. Which I think the last couple of streams I did, I had already started the shading, so you guys get to see it from scratch if I get to that point today, which I should. I should get to that point. Palm trees. I don't like that palm tree there. I don't need it to bleed into each other. That can bleed in a little bit. And then we got the birds. I wonder if I have a bird brush. I'm gonna do those kind of birds. Caw, caw. Let me bring my stabilization back up here. Oh, to be on a beach with a vaporwave background. I see you. Hi. Welcome. This is your first time joining me, isn't it? This is your first time joining me. How exciting. I hope you like it because not a lot happens except for me drawing and sometimes talking, but mostly talking. But here you are. Welcome. I'm so glad you came. Super glad. I am trying to figure out what color I want his eyes because this person did not give me a ref sheet. In a sense, I am just designing a character from scratch. So I don't know if I want them brown, if I want them blue, green, purple. 16 billion gazillion colors I could choose from. Just choosing the right one. Give him Desra's eyes, which are purple violet. Yes, they just gave me the breed. They just gave me this right here and said, hey, can you draw my pit bull OC? And I said, yes, but you're going to have to pay me a little more because you don't have a rough sheet. So I made him from scratch. They gave me his outfit, and then they just gave me this picture of this dog off of the Google. So there he is so far. And I think he turned out really good. Honestly, it is kind of fun because after I drew his head and his body, I was like, wow, I kind of want a Pitbull OC now. Like, really bad. I don't have any. But I still have to figure out the eyes. And I don't know what color. Like, this dog's eyes are brown. I mean, 90% of dogs' eyes are brown, but I don't want them to be brown because I can make them any color. And I also have to color his Gucci watch, which everyone decided that he was going to be wearing a Gucci watch in one of my other streams when I was sketching it or when I was lining it. I guess a light brown would be kind of cool. Let's see what that looks like. Cool, I guess it doesn't look like fucking anything because I'm not on the right layer. Let's see. I kind of like that. Kinda. But just for shits and giggles, let's see what blue looks like. I like blue eyes. I like crazy colored blue eyes. It is a great contrast to his dark face to have blue eyes. That being said, perhaps I can go another color in that same shade, like green. That might be too much. Oh, we're back to that color. Could do both. Like one eye, one color, and one eye, the other color, or like a gradient, or I could do a gradient. I'm not doing a gradient, but I'm gonna stick with blue for now because I like that contrast against his face. And if they don't like it, then I will just change it. It's just a layer to change. So there he is. So far, there are his flat colors. I like it. I really like it. All right, well, that's fun. Let's go ahead and get rid of that and get rid of this. Oh, right, the watch. See, that's exactly why I put it on another layer because I was going to forget about the watch. There's the watch. And it's a white watch, they said. Which means we are going to have some shinies. Come in over here. I want that to be sort of like a goldish color. White and gold. I wanna be shiny. Definitely gonna be watching that movie this weekend while I'm high on legal drugs off my ass. The rest of let me look at that Gucci watch. Because there was one that had like a really interesting band on it. Yeah, something like that. All right, so it's Christmas colors. I never noticed that it was Christmas colors, but all right, red and green. So, all right, so it's been 10 minutes. It's just you. And I don't think anybody else is going to join us. But if they do join us, then they're going to miss out on this super interesting story of what happened when I went to the park. And so, first off, I got two stories, two really weird ass fucking stories. First off, I'm in the forest. Where I live, there's a lot of fucking forest, and it's just like parks and stuff. It's not like, like out of the nowhere. And yes, this happened today. The this the second story I want to tell did not happen today. It happened a couple of weeks ago. So earlier today, I took Pim outside so he could run off some energy. And I'm walking in the forest, and we're just kind of, bebopping along, chilling, having a good time. And I don't want this red. I want this a shade of gray because I want it to be like a pearl. That's good. And so we're walking in the forest, and there's this old guy and this old lady, an old white couple. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna, ignore them as I ignore every other person on the planet and keep walking. Well, Pim's little ass decided to stop and try to eat something that was on the ground. And I said, Pim, what the fuck are you doing? Stop all that bullshit. And the guy starts talking to me. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. He can only talk for so long. And he's talking and he starts going on about, hey, there were these people who came up to us and they asked if we were join Jehovah's Witness. And I said, okay, yeah, I saw those people. I just kind of kept walking. And he said, well, I told them that their religion was wrong. And I'm like, oh, wow, good on you for telling them that. That's not the weird part. The weird part is how he just kept talking and talking and talking about like his life. He's like, I've got this much money in the bank, and he's like, I got $50,000 in the bank, then I got $250,000 somewhere else, and I got all this other stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he starts going on about like spirituality and shit. And I'm all like, yeah, this is what I believe, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And he says, oh, you seem like you're a really philosoph- philosophical character. And I'm like, yeah, I've been told that before. And he's like, there's someone standing by you and they've got their arm wrapped around you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's probably my dad's spirit because he's fucking dead. And he goes like, no, it's probably not your dad. But I think that actually took him by surprise because he's like, oh, no. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, whatever. And he's like, my daughter has dogs. Okay, first off, he says there's somebody standing by you with their arm wrapped around you. And then he says, that's a cute little dog you got there. My daughter has dogs. And I'm like, okay, cool. Um, and I'm just like, sweet, sweet, sweet. She's got little dogs. What kind of dogs she got? I'm trying to be nice because I'm in the fucking forest. I don't want to be rude and these crazy ass old people come out of the hills have eyes and some crazy shit. So I'm just trying to be nice. And the guy, he says, oh, I don't know, there's this like these little white dogs, they're like English, and they have and they're little white dogs. I'm currently trying to figure out what shade of gray I want this, and I think I'm gonna go with that. And he says, and I'm like, oh, are they Bichons? Because those are like super popular little white fluffy dogs. And he's like, no, I don't know. And then he starts asking about Pim, and I'm like, yeah, Pim is I realized I forgot to tell your dad hi on Memorial Day. Oh, that's okay. I'm sure he didn't, die or roll over in his grave about it. I forgot to go to his gravesite actually on that holiday that you just mentioned, Memorial Day. I did go on Father's Day though. Um but anyway, he says he's going on about the little dog, and I'm like, yeah, I had Pim this long, this, that, and the other. And he says, I think I met you before. And I'm like, oh, you have? And he says, yes, I've met you before. Probably somewhere else. And I said, oh, well, the universe tends to have people cross paths for a reason. And everybody knows somebody in some way, in shape, or form. And he says, I think I met you on Mars. I'm like, Mars? The planet? I'm just thinking, recapping this. It's fucking hilarious. Why is he being so weird? I have no idea why he's being so weird, like at all. I'm sorry about the lag. On my screen, it lags a little bit. So if I catch you after the fact and I kept talking, it's just lagging. And it always does. And I don't know how to fix it yet, but I will. I'll learn. And he says, I think I met you on Mars. And I'm like, Mars? The plant. And he's like, yeah, Mars, because there's life on Mars. And I'm like, yeah, for sure, there's life on Mars, obviously. Obviously there's life and the universe aside from our little planet. You'd have to be pretentious to think otherwise. And then he just sits there for a second and he goes like, yeah. And he's like, um, there was the first lady engineer, rocket scientist, or whatever of NASA, and she said, you know what she said about life on other planets? She said she didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, of course she didn't know. Nobody knows. He gave him a revelation. Yes, I did. She's like, I said, yeah, nobody actually knows, but and I took my fingers and did like a little tiny pinch and I said, but we're like this big, my dude. We're like this big on this big ass planet and this big ass galaxy and this big ass like place. And to think that we are the only life on this planet when our sun is a star and there's other stars is just crazy and pretentious, and it really makes humans look like assholes to even think that. And he just goes like, wow. And then he says, my name's Roger, by the way. And I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. I have a character named Roger. I didn't tell him that because I didn't want to go into the whole thing that I do all this stuff, but because he would have asked, because he was just asking all kinds of fucking questions. That's all over Twitch. I don't think there's a way to change it. Okay, well, that's good to know because I had no idea why it was lagging. So, hi, Smokin'. Smoke says hi. So, I'm sitting there, or not sitting there, I'm standing there. I'm holding Pim, trying to stop him from like eating whatever the fuck it is that's on the ground covered in ants because he's just being a little silly dog. And this guy says, you're really, this is when he says you're really physiological. I can't even say the goddamn word. Anyway, he says I'm like on this whole another plane of existence, and I'm like, yeah, I pretty much am on another plane of existence, my dude. I don't exist in this plane at all. And he says, my daughter has control over my finances and I got $250,000 in the bank. And I'm like, okay. And he says, how do you feel about talking to somebody who has $250,000? And I'm like, money is money, man. It's not forever. And he says, it's not my money. It's my daughter's money. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm so fucking sorry. Your daughter's taking advantage of you. Calm down. And then he goes back and says, you know who that is on your shoulder? You know who that is who's hanging around your shoulder? And I'm like, is it Jesus Christ? And he goes like, it's Jesus Christ. And he says, what is your, he asked like about my mom. He says, is your mom around? Is your mom alive? Or your dad or something? And I already told him my dad had passed away. And he goes like, is your mom around or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, my mom's alive. She's like 75. And he's like, oh, wow, she had you really late. And I'm like, yeah, she was like 40 something when she had me. And he's just sort of like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah, I guess. She already spent it. Yeah, she probably did. And he says, I want you to tell your mom that you love her and that you met me today and that Jesus is within you. And I'm like, okay, I will definitely let her know that. Thank you so much. I will let her know that Jesus is in me. And he said, and he keeps talking. Like I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to walk away at this point. And he keeps talking. Now he's not like following me because he was a big guy. And he goes, I had cancer. And I'm like, you are literally pulling everything out of the fucking hat to talk to me. And his wife's right there, mind you. It was not just him. It was not just this old guy in a fucking forest. It was like his wife was there as well. And she kept trying to talk. And they were like talking at the same time. She seemed like she was actually kind of cool, not gonna lie. Cause I was all like, um, I said something along the lines of like nobody really knows, and there's so many like religions out there that who knows who knows what's real and what's not. And she's just nodding along. She's like, that's right, you're real smart, you were really smart. And I thought she left with all this happening. She was just kind of sitting there trying to engage in the conversation too, and it just kind of wasn't working. You know what I mean? She's like, I was nice. I'm trying to be nice to these old people. And so then he's like, yeah, I had cancer. I went in a remission. And I just, it was obviously God who did this. And then he started going on about like his like experience in like the hospital. And he said the doctor said sometimes treatments don't work for everybody. And I'm like, yeah, that's because everybody's different and nobody's bodies are the same. And then he was just like, wow, I never thought of that. And I can't handle this. I'm trying not to fucking like laugh my ass off because this guy is legitimately just amazed that I'm just standing here talking to him for one reason, and that I'm just like blurting out all this crazy shit. And I'm just saying, the universe tends to unfold as it should. And he's just like, whoa. So that happened. Eventually he's still talking, and his wife says, my hip hurts. And then she says, I'm 71 and I got bad knees. And then they ended up asking like how old my mom was. And I said, my mom is 75. And they're like, oh, how is her health? And I'm like, she is in perfect health. And she doesn't even ever have to go to the doctor. And they were just like, they're like, she's 75 and she doesn't need a cane or anything. And I'm like, no, she doesn't need a cane. And they were like, how do you think that came about? And I'm like, well, probably just clean living and good eating and genetics. I think genetics had a big part in it. And then I told them like my granny, she passed away when she was like I think 105, and they were just like, "Oh, that is amazing." And then they just kept talking, and he said, "I live in Parma and I live over here and I've been over here and over there." And he's just like going on, and he's like, "We're just vacationing here today." So then I said, well, that's real nice, but I got to get going. And he said, oh, well, it was really great talking with you. It's nice to blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It was just really weird because they were in the middle of a forest and then came up talking about the universe. Oh, it was definitely something that's for sure. It was absolutely fucking something. And all the while, I'm just holding Pim and he's just vibing. He's just like, oh, that's fine. These people don't mean us any harm. Unlike the other story that I'm going to tell you guys about this guy who obviously meant us harm. And that was definitely an experience. I got to call the fire department. It was super cool because the guy who pulled up, the fireman, he was sexy. Sexy as fuck. And like the dark eyebrows, the dark hair, the nice voice. He was a little short, but that's all right. I can look past that. I can look past the shortness. And so this happened, I don't know, this happened around the time I discovered that Pim likes to swim. Yeah. So there we are, walking down the pathway, just minding our own business. And I didn't think I lived around so many fucking crazies, but I guess I do. And this guy, he's just kind of out there with food. He's just kind of cooking some food. And he says, I walk past. I'm not acknowledging him. I am definitely ignoring this individual. And he says, hey, that's a cute little dog you got there. And I'm like, oh boy, thank you. Thank you. He is a very cute little dog. And he says, you want some food? And I'm like, no, I don't want any of your weird ass forest food, because he was also in the middle of a fucking forest. I'm like, are these people fucking lost? And then again, there my ass is with this little ass tiny dog out in the middle of the forest taking a walk too. So obviously, I'm gonna see some weird shit. So he says, "Hey, you want some of this food?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want any of your food. I'm gonna keep moving." And now the thing is it's like a local park. They're not camping. There's not campers. There's not like tents and shit. They're just out there in like the forest, just in the woods. And it's just so weird. And he says, yeah, there was this party and everybody just kind of like left. They left all this food here. And I just started kind of cooking it. You want some? Because I can't take it all home. And I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't want any, but thank you." And then he says, "Hey, there's this cute little dog. What kind of dog is that?" I'm like, "He's a Papillon, the whole shebang." And now here's the thing. He was a tall, older white man with long gray hair. He had no facial hair, maybe a stubble, and he had a cast on his right arm, and he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. So he takes his cast with the on his right arm and he leans it in towards Pim. And he's like, "Hey there, little fella." Now Pim is not vibing with this guy, like at all. Pim said, "I don't like this whole situation. I don't want to be here right now. Why are we still communicating with this individual?" Pim was already like, "Let's leave. I don't like this." So that being said, I'm just sort of like, dog doesn't like it. I don't like it. That's all that matters. And he says, "Oh, wow, little guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, he's just a little guy. He's a little skittish. So I'm going to keep on going. You have a good day." And he says, "Well, if you want this food, it's right here." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So I keep walking. Me being my paranoid ass, I turn around and I look back and he's watching me walk away. And I'm like, "Okay." So I get down to the end of the path. And at this particular way to get like anywhere, there's like it's just the end of a path. The rest of it goes into like the suburbs and stuff. Like it goes into housing and developments and whatever the fuck over there. Anyway, the point is there's nowhere else to go except for back the way it came. So I go and I'm like, "Oh, all right, well, this is over." Oh, that's backwards. That should be like this. So I go on my merry little way, turn around, and I see he's looking at me. And then he quickly turns back around. Like, oh, he didn't want me seeing that he was looking at me. And I'm like, listen, I know my ass is nice. I know I got a nice ass. I do squats. I go to the gym. But it was just really weird. So then I have to go back the other way. And while I'm walking back the other way, this guy is coming towards me. So I put my bag together, like put it up to my shoulder, put my phone in my bag because if I gotta sprint, I'm gonna sprint. Now, Pim, I have taught Pim to sprint with me on command. As soon as I say, "Let's go," he goes. He goes as fast as his little legs can carry him, and he runs at about, I think I clocked him at 18 an hour. So he's faster than I am, 18 miles an hour. He's a fast little dog. He's faster than I am, but for the most part, I can almost keep up with him. But the point is he will sprint with me. I am fast, and I know I'm fast. I ran track. I still run, and so we go. But I didn't have to do that. But I was ready in case I did have to do that. So the guy's coming towards me. Mind you, I'm alone. There's nobody else around. I am by myself. Yes, Speedy Pim. He is a fast as fuck boy. Like the definition of fast as fuck boy. And the cast guy, the old man, is walking towards me, and I'm just sort of like, all right, if I gotta run, I'll run. If I gotta punch somebody in the fucking face, I'll punch somebody in the fucking face. I don't give a fuck, whatever. And he just says, "You have a nice day. That food's still over there." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Nice, polite me. And I'm like, "Well, that was really weird." So he left all this food that, he said he claimed that I can't carry all this home. And I'm like, "Okay, uh, that's fine, whatever." But he also left the grill burning. And I don't mean burning, like a little tiny burn, a little sizzle here and there, like, oh, it's gonna go out real soon. I mean burning. This thing was ablaze. It was a fucking, like, fire, and I am not exaggerating in the least. And it was under some trees. It had been hot for the past week here. We hadn't had any rain, so nothing was wet. There were dry leaves on the ground, dry sticks on the ground, dry dirts on the ground, a tree right above it, and this fire just blazing right up into the fucking tree. And I'm like, huh. Well, I'm not wasting my little bottle of Evian on this fire because this shit is expensive. I mean, Evian is like almost $4 a bottle and it's delicious. So I'm not going to use it attempting to put out a forest fire, and I probably would have failed anyway. So next, I'm like, well, shit, I'm the only one here, and this looks like a situation that could get really, really, really bad. Now, I don't know nothing about grills or fires or grills or whatever, but I do know that when it's hot out and there's nothing wet around, shit's gonna catch on fire. Especially when there is a fire blowing up into the fucking sky because it was literally a blaze. And I'm like, shit. So I call 911. And they're all like, and I tell them, hey, yeah, there was this really spooky dude in the forest, and he said he just kind of left this grill burning. And they were like, where are you? I told them the general idea of where I was because I actually don't know what the park or street is called. I just know where it is. And they're like, all right, just hang on. So they track my phone and track my location because they asked me to hang out there a little while. And then they showed up, they put the fire out, and that was it. That was it. And there was this really sexy fireman, of course. Like, this fireman was, oh, he was, whew, I should, I should have got his Facebook or something because he was delicious. Little short guy, like somebody you could pick up over your shoulder and just kind of carry away. And that was it. That was the story. I never saw that guy again. I don't know where he went or what happened. They put the fire out, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, I didn't want to waste you guys' time if it was just going to go out on its own. And he goes like, no, you did the right thing. Besides, we don't have anything else we're fucking doing. And I'm like, okay, that was something. Yes, I could put him in my pocket. I could put him in my suitcase. He was just so cute. I mean, there were two of them. The other one was kind of like balding and older and dopish looking. And it was like almost like a sitcom. You know how there's always like that lesser attractive person, and then they just have like this fucking dime piece. It was like that. Like they could have been in a buddy cop sitcom or something. Buddy fireman sitcom. And yeah, it was just extremely odd that this guy is just sort of like, "Hey, come over here and eat my food. Let's hang out." And I'm like, "Oh, no, sir. No. No, 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 no. That's just not something I want to do." Now, the other weird thing was how he was just looking at me while I was walking. And I mean, the red flag, the major fucking red flag was Pim not vibing with them. Pim is a pretty much a very friendly little dog. Like he's friendly for the most part. But if he ain't vibing with somebody, he ain't gonna be he ain't fucking with him. He just gonna look at him and he's just gonna be weary. And his little body language was telling me to be weary. His body language was his head was down, his ears were back, his tail was lowered. It's not like he was tired or anything or fearful of any other type of thing that was going on. It was just that guy. And so I'm like, all right, Pim, always listen to the animal because the animals know shit. What is going on? I need to fucking get rid of this without erasing it. Okay. So I'm like, the animal knows, and I'm going to listen to him. And so I did. And the guy almost caught the forest on fire. I guess probably because he didn't get his kill that day. I mean, I'd be pretty pissed too if I didn't get my kill that day. But how do you approach somebody like that? Why would you approach somebody like me like that? Do I look like I'm a fucking moron? Like, no, I've seen way too many horror movies to just walk up to some stranger and eat his food in the forest. The fuck? Kind of fucking cabin fever bullshit is that? Like, what even? He did his best, but his best wasn't good enough, that's for sure. Not for me. He should have found Becky or somebody, because it was definitely not for me. No, no, no. No. But yeah, that was it. And it's always some crazy shit. Always some crazy shit like that going on in the woods. And now that I think about it, both occurrences, the one that happened today and the a couple of weeks ago, happened around the same time. I almost want to go back to the forest, maybe a different area of the forest, and just sort of like do my normal thing around the same time because the weirdos seem to come out at dusk. Yes, I have heard about that. My sister actually sent me a video about it and she's just like, "Yeah, be super duper careful." And I'm like, "I will be careful. I'm paranoid as it is. So, if I see some weird shit like that, I'm going to be all like, "Uh-oh, it's happening. It's happening here to me." So, it's wild what they be doing nowadays to people. Definitely wild. So I mean, he could have got clever like that, but he kind of fucking didn't. He was just like, "Oh, here, come eat some food. Obviously, you're a fucking idiot." And I'm like, no, no, not even if it would cure cancer." I was about to earlier too because apparently, a girl in Texas. Yeah, I saw the. I think it might have been the same video because it was some girl in Texas. She said she talked about her experience. She said she didn't like touch the napkin, but she touched her actual like handle on her car, and then she was like, feeling all kinds of weird and shit, and they were like, "Oh, attempted kidnapping, blah blah blah, we don't really know." And obviously the cops and everybody was totally fucking useless, but yeah, it might have been the same video, it could have been something else, but it sounds like that. So it's when people become aware of stuff like that shit just ends up either stop happening or they end up getting some really really non-attentive people. Look at his nose. Look at it. I love the way I did his nose. His nose is so cute. His nose is the reason I ended up really wanting to make my own little pit bull. And so I'm probably going to invest some time in that after I finish these commissions. Dante's doing better. That's for sure. And he threw up today and he had a lot of oozy poop, but I was expecting him to have oozy poo because he's been eating basically liquid food for a week or so. But he pooped, which is great because he was backed up and they had to do this thing, and I'm like, "Oh god, Dante, you're 13." After I'm done streaming, I have to go give him his medicine. Oh, looks like he has a mustache. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Put some shadow there. Put a little bit there. One of these days I'm going to explain my process. That was actually one of my intents, was to explain the process, but I can't. I literally don't. I mean, I can, but I can't. It's odd. Especially if he wants to take you out before he goes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, people is crazy. Um Okay, so the light would actually be on the round part, so this would be right here. And then for this side, the lights also would be on the round. Probably not that much, but we'll figure it out later. We are just putting down base shadows right now. I kind of want to draw Oleg in this romper. Like, I already have him in like the pink romper. I want him in this vaporwave romper as well. He does. He is always in his hoochie daddy wear. It's like his favorite fucking thing is being a hoochie daddy. I actually need a folder for this. That, all of this in there. Boom, boom, bop, ba da 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 da. Okay. I'm going to make two versions of, not this, but of Oleg's outfit. I'm going to make a cameo one, like camouflage one, and then I am also going to make the pink one that I was working on prior, that I just stopped working on to take commissions because I needed some monies, so I opened commissions early. I'm really happy that people decided to commission me though, like super fucking happy. I think lowering my prices helped a lot, which given how much I really like this coloring style, I don't mind just doing it for fucking dirt cheap because it's easy, it's fun, it's relaxing, that's for sure. All my other coloring styles, like when I was doing the lineless renderings and bullshit like that, they were stressful. Like I was stressed. I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot fucking figure out this at all." And I'm like, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be stressed while I'm doing this. I want to have fun while I'm doing this. And so I was trying a whole bunch of different stuff that I had learned from renderings and stuff that I had learned from other things like the line lists and all that stuff. And I'm like, maybe I can apply it a different way. And then I looked up some other tutorials. And actually, one of my Facebook friends on Facebook had a really good tutorial on doing like cell shading. And so I took the cell shading tutorial and matched it up with another one and then matched it up with another and then morphed that all together into what I'm doing right now. And it turned out to be the most relaxing method to color something ever. Like I don't have to worry about an ass load of layers. I don't have to worry about like anything. It's just you put your base colors down, you put your shading down, you wiggle around a little bit, you morph some stuff, and then you morph some more stuff, and then you do some more effects, and then you do some other bullshit, and the next thing you know, it looks super awesome. As that one girl come up with more hair brushes for Clip. I I have bought all of her brushes so far that she has for Clip Studio, except for one of the braided ones. So I don't know if she's come out with like any more than what I already have. And the ones that I have are where is my here? No, no, no. Here. So all of these curly hair ones, yeah, I got like a lot of her brushes, and I haven't even needed a use for anything other than that because I either hand draw my braids or my dreads, and the curly part, like Desra's hair, for example. Desra's hair is a bitch and a half. She's one of her brushes was perfect for her hair, and I just used that. So to answer your question, I don't know. That's the short answer. I don't know. I just know the ones that I got are fucking tits, and I don't need any more. So I haven't been keeping up with her. Let's see. All right, so this is flat. This is metal. This is flat, which means that the whole thing is also recessed, which means that the whole thing would be in shadow. Boop. Especially because his arm's pointed down. There's no light towards it. Okay. Are we ready to start more molding and morphing? Nope. Not yet. Actually, maybe. Zoom. He doesn't have any hair. And he doesn't have hair, and I love doing the hair. But that's okay, because I'll just bring out his eyes. Let's add some darkness to where his collar is, because that would be shadow. That wouldn't be that. Oh, it sounds like my automatic cat water dishes need some water. I'll do that in a minute. Oh, wonderful. Titan has turned on the tub. Wait, no. Titan hasn't turned on the tub. Titan's in the fucking bedroom. Who the fuck turned on the tub? I'll be right back. Somebody turned on the tub. Okay, well, Titan had turned on the tub because for some reason he was not in the bedroom like I thought he was, and I just realized I just left my screen on a nipple. Nipple! I thought he was in the bedroom, and he was, in fact, not. He likes to communicate by doing things I don't want him to do that tell me what he actually wants. And in this case, it's turning on the tub. Yeah. He is being naughty. That's just how he talks to us. He's like, I know if I do this, they will open the bedroom door and I can go in there. And Mr. Titan has been extremely like emotional since Cleo's passing and misses her a lot. And he's sort of started like latching himself to Chubbs. And Chubbs has the kidney disease, so he's in the bedroom secluded so he can eat his own food by himself and not be stressed out by these heathens. And so he just kind of likes to go in there and hang out with Chubbs. Chubbs doesn't mind either. They like cuddle and it's really really cute. He's gonna be hit really hard when Chubbs passes in a couple of years. Yeah, she was such a great cat. She was so awesome. Fucking FIP. Just out of nowhere too. No indication, no nothing. Just oh, I am sick. Guess I'll die. He needs a little more right here. And a little right there. Hmm. I seriously want to draw Oleg because buff characters, especially buff guys, always make me want to draw Oleg because he is the beefiest guy that I own. I can't say he's the beefiest guy that I own because I've got three other dudes who have like muscles, and then there's just the big guy who's just a big old bear. Am I ready to? Am I ready? Am I ready to move on, or do I need to do more to this? Probably just do a little more. Mm. He's got so much going on. Also, I don't know. No, I know what I'll do for the background. Thinking about what I was gonna do. The bear. Um, I've drawn a few bears. I've drawn a few bears. It's not the green bear because I've drawn this green panda bear a while. That's not my character. The one I'm talking about, he's a brown sun bear or whatever, an Asian sun bear. He's the one who I always draw with Terry and the fox. And no, he's definitely mine. And I designed that one. He was definitely not an adept. I designed him. Hey, Noob. Noob tried to steal my chicken earlier, so she had to go in the dog cage. Yeah, I'm telling on you. Don't look at me like that. The one that be in the fur coat. Yes. Yes, exactly. Wait. I don't draw him enough, actually. Honestly, the most that looks backwards. The most I've drawn him is honestly just ripping Terry a bunch of new holes. That's like it. I should draw him in like a more wholesome manner because he's a nice character. The way that I've made him. He's nice in his own way. Like he's friends with Isaac and he knows Desra and he's done some fucked up stuff on his own. My nipples look like milk duds. Before nipple. Can't get over the fucking nipple. I didn't know you had a bear. You didn't know I had a bear. His name is Hitoro Itsuki. He is an Asian brown bear. That's what he is. An Asian brown bear. It's either an Asian brown bear or an Asian black bear. And I'd show you, but I think 90% of his art is not safe for work with his fat penis. You should you need to come over here and get Pretty Boy because he is being a bully to his sisters. You need to come over here and get him like right now. He's just being rude as all hell to his sisters. Dude needs some fucking drugs is what he needs. Um Legal drugs. Perfectly legal. In my state. I swear. Promise. Acting out because he's grieving. Also needs that. Also needs created that monster. Yeah, Angel did. Angel is the reason he's a fucking bully. That's for sure. Because she started bullying him, and he said, "I'm bigger than you. Go fuck yourself," and then started bullying literally everybody else. It is definitely Angel's fault. There is no lie there. Okay, think I'm ready to start molding these shadows into his body. And then I'm probably gonna have to leave. Actually, it is 53 minutes I've been doing this. I can't do it longer than an hour because I have to go to bed. Tomorrow night, though, I might be able to do it a little bit longer because it's Friday. Obviously, it's Friday, and I can stay up all night if I really want to. Maybe hang out with you guys, play some games, do some stuff. Why is this 84 and it's so tiny? How big is this goddamn canvas? All right. The fun part. The fun part. Your work hours are gonna change? That sucks. Dude, I hate when they just abruptly ruin people's lives like that. Like, why are they so inconsiderate? I hate that. That sucks so much ass. Like, you get used to working a fucking schedule, and then they just, like, oh, well, you know what? Fuck you, is what they say. It's so irritating. I had a job like that once, and it was just awful. I left. I said I don't have to stay here. You guys don't appreciate my time. Friday's off now, switching offices because this damn folk drive me crazy. So it'll be Tuesdays. So you'll be off on Tuesdays? Tuesdays are my workout days. I go to the gym after I get off from work on Tuesdays. Why did my air conditioning turn off? I swear to God, if something else fucking breaks, I'm just gonna leave like tomorrow. I'm moving. I'm definitely not staying here because they keep doing stupid shit that I don't appreciate. So I'm gonna finally buy myself a house. Did I do that right? I did not do that right. I ain't do a damn thing right on that. That ain't right. That is incorrect. I said the shadow needs to go on the round part, not underneath the round part. This is the round part. That's why I'm like, why does it look like a fold? It's not a fold. It's a bicep or whatever the fuck it's called. Erase a little bit there. Going Monday, off Tuesday. The doctor I'll be working for is a mayor, so that's when he does his mayor things. Well, isn't that fancy? Tell him to give you more money, like immediately. Be all like, hey, give me some of that mayor money. I don't know how much you make, but it doesn't matter. Tell him to give you more money. I think I'm gonna have this guy in the sunlight. He's just gonna be chilling in the sun. And I mention that because I'm changing this shadow color entirely. It's like, why are you working two jobs? Maybe he doesn't have any friends or a life or anything of worth value. Maybe he's insecure in himself and he needs something to make him feel like he's valid or he has a small penis. And he's just like, I really don't like the fact my penis is little. And it makes him feel better about himself being mayor and a doctor. Or maybe he's just greedy. He could be greedy. Could be like, oh, I like money. Ah, ha, ha. So satisfying. Something about the greedy or bored. Probably both. Home life just not satisfying enough to you? Then become a doctor and a mayor today. Sign up. I actually don't want to stop. I want to keep going. I want to finish this because I'm like on a roll and I'm full of energy. But I know I have to go because I have to go out to fucking downtown, pick up some stupid shit and carry it in my car. Thinking of doing flex tomorrow before like in the early morning. I really should get going, but I'm just gonna not do that yet. Just gonna play with this a little more. No hobby at all. Oh no, he has zero hobbies and zero friends. His job is his entire life. That's that is it. His entire life. I mean, even Daddy has a fucking hobby. He likes to golf. Beefcake. Beefcake. Okay, think about this. Where is the light on his abs? Probably be up in the corner. So first. This. I need a little more on that. Grab a little more paint. How dare you enter my fucking house? Die. Die! Die! Bitch. Fucking gnat. I need a little more paint here. Just happy abs. Happy abs. Gotta show them what's what. Fucking gnats. I don't even know. Like, there's a fucking bug zapper in the hallway because we just get bugs in the building for God knows what fucking reason. I think it's because all the people in this building are actually dead and they're zombies. That's why Peanut's still alive. Okay, this one's gonna be a little funky. I might have to erase some of this. In the trash. I know I fed them when I got home, but why are they in the fucking trash? I'm actually just gonna finish up this and then I'm gonna get going. That gnat. Fuck that gnat. I don't even fucking where the corpse went. Why? Why? Oh, there was this chick, TikTok chick, and she concerned about the amount of flies at a neighbor's apartment. But they turn out to be dead? Because that sounds like a turn out to be dead story. Yep. Yep. That definitely sounds like a turn out to be dead story. There's somebody who smells in my, or something that smells horrible in like my mom's building. No clue what the fuck it is, and I swear it's somebody dead in the building. Like they're maybe trying to preserve their decomposed body with like Febreze, and it's not working very well. Roach nest. Sounds like a Dahmer story. Oh, I cannot wait for that new series to come out with the guy who played in the American Horror Story. I can't remember his fucking name, and he was in the Avengers and all this other stuff. Actually, I'm probably gonna even sit down and really watch that one. I love love it. It looks like I love that actor. It looks like it's gonna be good. Yes, it's Evans something. It doesn't matter. The point is that he's playing Jeffrey Dahmer. And I watched the movie My Friend Dahmer or whatever from the little comic book, and it was all right. I mean, it was good for what it was, but this is like a whole series, so I'm excited to see what they do with it. This should have light right there. And then this should have a little light right there. I think we watched it together. Yeah, we watched it together. I saw it in theaters once, and there was nobody else in the theater except for just me and Human. And then you and I watched it together via stream on one of those sites that don't get crazy because you're streaming video. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. Whoop. Same. I like the comic better too. I wasn't a huge fan of the art style, but I was a little bit better of a fan of the storytelling, the way that he wrote it. The art style kind of gave me like made me nauseous. It was very uneasy. It was grotesque, which I'm sure it was probably supposed to be that way, but I didn't like it that much. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I'm getting tired. Yeah, it was blocky. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It was like blocky and drippy looking, and I wasn't feeling it, but the storytelling was good. I did like the way it was written. Penis. Bulgies. Ooh, woo, notices your bulge. Fixes watch. Smacks in the face. Runs away. The way that that guy like capitalized on Jeffrey Dahmer too was kind of funny. He was like, "Yeah, I knew him in high school. I'm gonna write a comic book about it." Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That is definitely a good way to put it. I like that. I like that a lot. Boop, boop, boop. Coming together. This doesn't look very smooth, but it is going to be faded, so see what it looks like after that. Okay, so one side would be sharp, one side would be faded, and that's going to be this side. There's this one commission I have. It's cute fox. I really like foxes. I'm 10 times more likely to enjoy the commission if it involves a fox because I love drawing foxes. And I like drawing cats. I like drawing dogs. Some people be approaching me with like this closed species dragon bullshit, and I'm just all like, can you not? Can you not? Oh, that's too much. After all, he is in tight tights. Tighty whites. At least they seem like they would be tight to me. There they go fighting again. But given this is where the light is, there wouldn't be that much on this side. Actually, move that over. Might change that, but that's definitely the idea I'm getting for. You probably won't be able to see it that much anyway, because it's dark down there. The butt cheek. And the face. Habibi's here. Wait. He doesn't talk a lot. Unless it's in the hallway. He'll like run in the hallway. And then he'll just kind of meow at the bottom of the stairs. I'll be like, BB, what are you doing? And he'll just go, and it's really cute. The cutest thing ever. kind of wonder what other little adventures I'm gonna have when I go out to the park around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh my god, there was some lady. I was walking and I don't know where I was walking. I think I was walking in a Walmart. I had Pim with me. Cause Pim goes with me everywhere. And this lady goes like, "What a cute Pomeranian." I said, "Ma'am, he is not a Pomeranian." And she's like, "Oh, what is he? A long-haired Chihuahua?" And I said, "No, those two don't even look anything alike. He doesn't look anything like either of those." She says, "Well, what is he?" I'm like, "It's a Papillon." She's like, "A what?" I'm like, "A Papillon." She says, "I've never heard of that." I'm like, "Well, Google it." And that's the end. Who knows? Have you seen a Pomeranian? They look nothing alike. Like nothing alike, ma'am. Try not to be rude, but I think you just might be wrong. Although it is really nice when people do know that he's a Papillon. I love it when people be all like, "Oh my god, a Papillon!" And I'm like, "Yes, it's a Papillon." And then there's people who are just like, "Oh, a Papillion." And I'm like, "Damn, could you say that any more less seasoned?" It's a Papillion. Oh god. And either way, I'm like, yes, he is that. He is what you just said. Like I didn't know you could unseason dog breeds. Okay, think about this logically. So, what? Okay. What they attempted to say. Papillion. Papillon. The butterfly dog. The butterfly ears. I think what gets me is the long haired chihuahua. Because, I mean, I can see why you would think he was a long haired chihuahua. Because he is small and he has long hair. But after he grows into his full coat and like all that fluff, there is nothing about him that says Chihuahua. Everything about him says Papillon. Or as that guy said, Papillion. At least I don't have any meetings tomorrow. That is a plus. I love the way it's turning out. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Handsome boy. Okay. And you are right. It is almost time for bed. I am getting tired by the second. My energy levels are depleting. My iPad has more of a battery life than I do right now. Papillion. The fun part is the highlights. Actually, the whole thing is highlight. It's fun. I know you'll catch a second wind. We can't have that. Yes, we cannot have that. We can't. But I'm almost done here blending. And then I'm going to just clip it on top of his fucking flat colors and see what it looks like. Obviously, with all the shadow, which I actually put more shadow on here than I was trying to, I just kind of got a little carried away. It looks more like he's standing in a dusk-ish, but I'll work with it. I can work with it because I am definitely not doing it again because I like the way it looks. Oh my god, no, not the yawn. Oh no. Oh god, no, why? There was a time I used to be able to stay up for hours. That's not right. Why do I keep putting the fucking... That's incorrect. There we go. So shits and giggles. Where the fucking... You? No. You? Yes. Pass out easily and early. Easy and early. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm like I kind of started just kind of having a hard stop bedtime at like 9 o'clock for the longest time because of how early my shift is. And then I got used to it and I can't seem to go back. It's horrible. I want to be able to stay up all night and draw. I really miss being able to do that. Cuz I always feel like I'm more creative at night. Like I want to keep doing this. I want to keep going. Like I've already started working on removing some of these shadows and giving him some tertiary highlights. And I shouldn't have done that because that's a whole nother process. And that that he is looking good so far. I love it. He's looking good. He is looking good so far. His skin tight, fucking skin tight men's romper off Amazon. I love it. All right, I am going to save this and I am going to call it a night. I ran for 1 hour and 18 minutes this night, which is a little bit longer than normal. Usually I'm only about an hour. So I would definitely like to thank you all for joining me in my stream this evening and inviting me into your home while I worked on this sexy, big, chunky pit bull and a male romper from Amazon. So have a good night. Thank you all again. I am definitely going to handle Dante, clean the cat boxes, and give him his medication, run him around for 15 minutes, and then I will get to go to bed. So, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Bye!